things up here. Hopefully you guys don't fall off the edge of the, what the heck? Stay. Stay. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to a part 2 of the Gear Change Show. Well, forgot to introduce myself. My name is Mike Camo, your humble host. I'm here for the Gear Change Show, here to continue part 2 of the Spa-Francorchamps, the second part of the Spa-Francorchamps thing. If you guys didn't watch the video last night, watch it. I go over the history of the Spa racetrack and the Spa 6 hour, the Spa 1,000 kilometer race, and how it was formed, and how Spa went from, I tell how the Spa went from a 9.3 mile racetrack all the way to the 4.353 and 52 or whatever and change mile length, because the FIA measures the tracks like that. So the 1,000 kilometers are 6 hour endurance, usually run in April or May, April/May of the year. But it was first run in 1953 when the sports car, and this is back when the racetrack was still in its 8.7 or 8.8 or 14 kilometer. Was it 14? Yeah, I think it was 14.1 kilometers for those of you. I think it was 14 kilometers, 14.1 or 14.2 kilometers for those of you over in the EU and the continent over in Europe, the United Kingdom, and over in France and Germany and Belgium and all those other places, Italy, places that use the kilometer system and the metrics, not the imperial. The imperial and then the imperial and then the metric system, obviously. But so it started in 1953. Obviously, it was. I think I was reading a lot of it. A lot of them were non-championship races, but actually no, it was. No, I was thinking of Spot 24, but it was part of the World Sports Car Championship, and you guys can only imagine, they were early days. So I think that what the idea was is they'd race 1,000 kilometers or 621 miles around an 8.8 mile circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and it's the same thing. They had the same problems because of road conditions, and as I mentioned, you could literally see somebody's driveway at the edge of the track. And I wish I didn't shut off my PS4 so I could show you guys a video of that. I may produce that video tomorrow early, and then actually no, it's part of the Gear Change Show, so that may be next Friday into Saturday for that race. So it started out in 53, and what they thought of was what they were thinking of was how to base racetracks, because a lot of races were not 6 hours. They were 1,000 kilometers. Like there was the 1,000 kilometers of Nürburgring, 1,000 kilometers of Brands Hatch, 1,000 kilometers of Ring. 1,000 kilometers Monza was also another one over the years. There was, I don't know if there was 1,000 kilometers of Le Mans. Le Mans was always the 24-hour endurance. I think they had. I don't think it was until after. I don't think it was until like the late 2000s that they in the World Sports Car Championship or the European Sports Car Championship that they started to do that. But most about 1,000 kilometers. Um, so I'm just going to read a little bit of a history. So the Spa 24 was introduced in 1924. The Nürburgring also is the same thing. So it was a minor sports car race. It was a minor sports car race called Coupe de Spa, which was that held lineage to the 6-hour race, or 1,000 kilometers. The first Spa race was held in 1954 and 1960. First Spa Grand Prix, which was kind of a forerunner to the 1,000 kilometers, and then eventually in 1963, and it well, it wasn't quite the Spa 1,000 kilometers, but it joined the World Sports Car Championship, and Sports Car Championship, and then it was extended to in '63. It was part of the WSC, or the World Championship of Makes, as it would be later known. In '66, though, I mean, it would be 500 kilometers. First 1,000 kilometer race was 1966, and that was during the Ford GT and Ferrari era. And there was also the 1,000 kilometers of Monza, and due to safety problems and the traditionally long and fast 14-kilometer track on public roads, the race was stopped in 1975. I can see why, because and then there would be a gap of in the 1975, and then there would be a gap of nearly 7 years, and then it would resume in 1982. The only reason why that happened was because of, and I'm pretty sure that that was part of the whole, and I'm pretty sure that the oil crisis had something to do with it as well, because that was happening. If you guys remember my track description, if you guys watched that video, if you guys didn't, you guys watched this one. 1978 was when they between Formula One having trouble staying on the road. I've talked to you guys about Jackie Stewart, and in 1973, the Pescarolo Matra ended up going. Simca at MS 670B ended up doing a 313, which was as fast as Le Mans at the time. And I'm pretty sure with some of the straightaway speeds, I believe they were hitting 300, probably north of 300 kph in some of the cars. 300 kph, which is 186 miles an hour for those of you who here over in the States or in territories that use miles per hour, not kilometers an hour. And I think it was also because of how there were fuel regulations and stuff like that that a lot of racetracks lost championship status. I believe Le Mans lost world championship status in 75, 76. and it wasn't until 82 when the track was shortened from its 14-mile length to about half that in a 4.3 something 4.4 mile length, or 7 kilometers, that people started to address. It was also around this time that the Group C era was starting to come around, and speeds would start to climb, and I believe a few lap records fell, and I believe Formula One was in amongst its turbo era, so I think Formula One was also coming back as well, because the track was shorter. It was not on public roads. You wouldn't fly into somebody's potting shed or into somebody's car or somebody's house or somebody's truck, or end up somebody's living room or somebody's horse stable or something like that, or somebody's pond or somebody's drainage ditch at the side of the road, like poor old Jackie Stewart did when his BRM in '66 overturned and broke 2 ribs, and it nearly soaked him in fuel, which once sparked by a starter or a fuel line or a hot, could have ignited the fuel and could have killed him. But he was lucky to get away from that with some broken ribs, and there were there were many fatalities because of that. There was, I'm not gonna beat around the bush or not do it, but there were fatalities in this era, and Spa was a very unrelenting track. A lot of people thought because the cars were getting slowed down and the things were starting to go up, but that wouldn't be wholesomely true. So yeah. So just some cars, just to give you an idea of what some of the cars were like back then. So 53, it was won by a Ferrari 166. So these were 2-liter cars, Jaguar C-Type 3.4, the D-Type won in 56, Tony Brooks won for Aston Martin in a DBR1, Maston Gregory won in a Lister Jaguar, Carole Godin de Belfort won in a Porsche 718 RSK, which was a 1.5 boxer engine or a Berg Spider type thing. Then we have 250. Then of course 61, and of course we have 61, 62, 63, 60. Yep. 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, and 65, all won by Ferrari 250 type cars. Either a short wheelbase Berlinetta, which is basically a coupe. Barchetta is a Spider is a convertible. 250 GTO, 250 LM, and then the first 1,000-kilometer race, which was oh yeah, by the way, the first race ever run was 105. Well, the first time race was about 105 or 160 kilometers, then they eventually built it up to 500 or 310 miles in 63. So it wouldn't be until the 333P of Ludovico Schiavetti and Mike Parks. Mike Parks was pretty good, and he and then the Mirage M1 GT40 won in 68, Porsche 908 LH won in 69. So we're going from 3-liter V12s, 4-liter V12s to Ford V8s and stuff like that, and 3-liter V flat 8s, and straight 12s, and then of course 72 and 72, 73, or obviously 73, 74, and 75. We all had the 3-liter brigade. So sort of when they were running Formula One engines, and '73 was obviously when the Matra did it, and this was when they were doing the World Championship and Grand Touring Car Trophy. This that was, and I forgot to talk about the GT cars a little bit, because GT cars also have a very good thing at Spa. So at this time, they had Aston Martin DB3Ss and Alfa Romeos and stuff like that, Corvettes. Pretty sure in the late 60s, early 70s, we obviously had the Ford GT40 Ford GT40, even though it was a prototype, it was a GT car. And then obviously 1972, 73, we had Corvettes, Panteras, the 365 GT B4 Daytonas, and the Ligiers and stuff like that. And you also had the little prototypes like Chevrons and Mirages and stuff like that, Oscars and Odessas, Ocellas and stuff like that, and BRMs, and but all sorts of engines like BMW, Ford Cosworth, and all this other stuff. This is kind of the time when Ford Cosworth kind of slipped in there with the DFE and Matra's B12 and stuff like that. So you can see why the speeds went up in that time frame. And I think it was around 73 that because the reason why they downsized to a 3-liter was to cut the horsepower and also cut the speeds. But the little Grand Prix style V12s and V8s and V12s were able to generate 300 kilometers per hour, 186. These cars were good to go, anywhere from on most tracks like Le Mans and the Nürburgring. These cars were all capable of 160 plus, and I think at Le Mans, the cars were probably touching 340 kilometers to 350. 340 being 211 and 350 being 217. And these cars were that fast, and they only had 450 horsepower. So you can see why a few people were like, well, they're just becoming Formula One cars, so that's the reason why they're dangerous. And not to say that they flipped them. And, well, as you guys know, 76 to 81, they did not hold a race because the cars were obviously unsafe. And the race distance also had been cut from obviously because of the energy crisis and all this other stuff. So actually was this spring shortened actually? Let's see. During a porching storm. Well, I thought it was because of an approaching storm, but still enough for Romeo 1. Then we go on a hiatus, and then we get into the Group C era, which is the 4.3 mile track. Porsche 956, 82, 83, 84, Porsche 956. Lancia won in 85. Stefan Beloff, I believe, was it Beloff that lost? Yep, Stefan Beloff ended up crashing. It was the first fatality of the redesigned circuit. Well, actually, I think there was one of them. And then this was when the races were about, they were still 1,000 kilometers long, except they were 6 hours. And this was kind of when the races would get done faster than 6 hours because the Porsche, and then you have the 962, the XJ8, the C9 Sauber, and then C9 Sauber, C9. The Germans being the absolute steamrollers that they were. And then eventually, 91 would be kind of the end of that, because the Group C era would kind of fizzle in 91, 92, because I don't think they could get entries on the grid because it was getting too expensive, and people were starting to migrate to Formula One. And then eventually 1991 to 1998, they would go they would not be part of they would part of the Sports Car Racing World Cup, except these races would be 2.5 hours long, and but Ferraris would win, Alfa Romeo would win, Pescarolo would win in a Peugeot Evo 2002. I don't think it was until 2003 that they started to reinstate. I remember watching the Le Mans review of 1999 and them reviving the 1,000 kilometer races around the world and being part of the Le Mans Endurance Series. That would kind of be a thing. Although it was a British GT, Sports Car British GT Championship, and then FI Sports Car Championship, and then obviously the Le Mans Series, Le Mans Endurance Series would do that. And you'd have the likes of Audi won the first 2,000 kilometers. No surprise. Zytek would win it. Pescarolo 5.5 liter V10. Then we'd have the diesels in 07 through 2000. Well, we'd have the diesels from 2008 all the way till 2013. So a stretch of like 7 years or something like that that the diesels would be in there. And these races would obviously would go past 1,000 kilometers or 700 miles because they're racing on time, and obviously endurance racing and stuff like that. They're obviously going to do whatever. I think it wasn't until most of these were 6 hours. So now that kind of puts us up to today a little bit with. So in the mid to late 2000s, we obviously had the Audi come out. Especially in the 90s, we wouldn't. I mean, there would be races at Spa, but obviously they wouldn't race FIA. There would be the FIA GT Championship or the British GT Championship and stuff like that. So you'd have cars like that, and kind of the FIA, the Spa 24 Hour would kind of be a big event for a while, and then eventually you get the World Sports Car and Le Mans Endurance Championship, and we'd also see the rise of the Dodge Viper in the 90s in sports car racing. We'd obviously see the rise of Ferrari and Aston Martin later in the late 2000s, in the mid to late 2000s, and the diesels coming through. Then obviously hybrid tech in 2012 till today, and it's kind of been a Toyota game the last couple of years. Unfortunately. So, when was the last time somebody other than Toyota won? Well, I think that was 2016 with the R8 Diesel Quattro, and it was back in 2016. So almost 8 years ago, they won, and it's been TSO 50, TSO 50, TSO 50. The GR10's won the last 3 years, so it's like, so, and this year is interesting because now we have Ferrari, Porsche, Cadillac, and Peugeot's back, and all these other guys, and we also have Lamborghini, stuff like that. So it's really, really good, and I'm hoping that Toyota doesn't quite have the stranglehold at the 1,000 kilometers. I hope somebody else wins. I like to see Cadillac win or Porsche win because Porsche's already done it this year. So, but I like to see Cadillac break through and win, but we'll see. Because American muscle. So. You guys kind of get a gist of different cars, and especially with Le Mans, Le Mans had an influence on these cars, and you know, the racing was safer. I don't think there have been too many fatalities on the circuit these days because everything's quite controlled, and I've never really seen any major accidents at Spa. Most people can usually walk away from them. There's been quite a few hair-raising ones. But other than that, nothing to really write home about. And when you the thing about the new track is our route. If you get it wrong, or if you get the wrong grip, you can really get it. But I'll show you guys that in a video tomorrow when I get Project Cars 2 set up, and I'll make sure to do the old track, and I'll make sure to do the new track as well. So I mean the conventional circuit as well, to show you guys just what I'm talking about some of these. Actually, do I? Actually, I do have a. I do actually have a drive. I'm not talking. I don't talk in it, but I do actually have a trap. Do actually have a. I'll find it on my video, but I'll give you guys a link in the description, unless Forza Motorsport, GT7 videos. That we're told. I may have to do another one. I do have one up, but I might do a new one because I have to do both of them, and I want to commentate this one. So yeah, this kind of been an overview. I'm gonna do that. We're gonna record that tomorrow. I'm gonna put that up on Friday, kind of as a part 3 actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys later.